Wilder Show podcast. I'm Scott. That's Lauren.
I'm over here.
Goodness gracious.
I just had to vacation. Who's going on vacation?
What is a vacation?
What is a vacation?
I'm just kidding. What were you fiddling with over there?
My volume, my headphone volume. It's not right. You know, it's a long story. It's just, I can't read. It's just not right in front of me. And
can we turn you up a little bit?
No, I was turning it down.
Oh, gotcha.
Because I had turned it up a little bit yesterday, and then
gotcha.
you were coming in. You were coming in
loud and clear,
pretty hot.
Yeah,
in my ears.
Okay.
So I had to.
Is it better now?
Yes, it's much better now.
Can we turn it down a little bit?
It sounded like I was very far away. I really wasn't. I was only inches away. I just had to lean over to adjust.
Yeah, we'll edit all this out. Instagram. So how are you, Lauren, today?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm okay. Instagram. You find us on Instagram. It's Wilder Show Pod. If you want to send us email, just email to podcast@wildershow.com. Thank you for your kind words about the 100th Wilder Show podcast, which was our last podcast. So it's 101.
Our most recent podcast.
That's right.
It wasn't our last podcast because...
That's right.
Here we are again.
That's right. Very nice English major correction. We are now in our second 100 podcasts. Wilder Show podcast drops Tuesdays and Fridays, 6 a.m. Central Time or before, on Spotify, Apple Podcast, iHeart, Amazon, YouTube. We're on the TikTok now and again. Wherever you get your podcasts, would you please like, rate, follow, subscribe, share, give us a little thumbs up right now, and we'll appreciate that. Sort of a sad beginning. Our buddy David Gold passed away, and that happened, I guess, 2 nights ago. And we both worked with David.
We did.
And many people have. David Gold, talk show host in Dallas-Fort Worth. I think of him, I mainly attach him to KLIF.
Right.
He also worked at BAP, and he worked with us also. I think he did the 3 o'clock to 4 o'clock, and then we did the 4 to 7.
Was it only 3 o'clock to? I think it was a little bit long.
Might have been 1 to 4. Anyway, we followed him, and then our show bumped up to, I guess, 3 to 6, then became even more than that at some point. But anyway, he would exit the room, and I would enter the room. Mm-hmm. That's always a weird thing for people, for radio people. It's an awkward exchange. In the olden times of everything was live, is you really have about 2 minutes to get everything out of there. And the next person has only a couple of minutes to get everything a certain way. And some of those people are very particular as we set up our things. Mm-hmm. We like our things set up a certain way. Mm-hmm. And you can't always get that done in just 2 minutes.
But you must.
But people have their own chairs they like to have. Everybody has their own headphones they like to use.
Everyone's equal in terms of the time you get to set up your stuff.
That's right.
Doesn't matter how particular you are, just get it done.
It's true. And sometimes, people even have their own microphones.
Or send somebody in there before you to get it done you can yell at if it's not done 100% correctly.
These pins are in the wrong order. The tips are supposed to point to the left. Anyway, so Dave, I don't know the particulars of his situation, but David Gold, really, no pun intended, those really were golden days, I think, of talk radio in Dallas-Fort Worth. Mm-hmm. Is the old KLIF into WBAP, and then we sort of nibbled at the edges. Now, I remember we had a lot of people that would listen to the Scott Wilder Show, and they would say, I listen to Mark in the morning, Mark Davis at BAP. Then I listen to Rush. Yeah. And then I listen to you guys.
Yep.
So we kind of we're sort of a hanger-on at the end of the day. I think people figured if they wanted more of Sean Hannity, they would watch the TV show. So we were up against Sean Hannity in those days. Uh-huh. And so a lot of people would say, I listen to Mark Davis, and I listen to Rush, and I listen to your show, y'all's show. Anyway, so David Gold, he was 75. I guess I would not have guessed. I'm not
sure
that
he was that much.
No, I think I might have thought, just because for me, sort of as a listener, I listened to him before I ever knew him, and of course before we ever worked with him. In my mind, I think he might have been older. Yeah. Than that, but I'm as I move up, I always think everybody else must be way up there. It's like, no, we're all sort of up here, the stratosphere together.
If I remember correctly, though, I think that when we worked with him, you and I both had young families, young kids. I think he had a young kid.
He did.
Too.
He did. Yeah. Yeah. He had an interesting sort of trajectory of faith. He was born Jewish, was raised a Jew.
Yeah.
And became a Christian. Anyways, so, if you're inclined to find out more, find out more. And if you're not inclined to find out more, but you still would like to, say a prayer for his family, I'm sure they're going through quite a bit. I didn't know him personally outside of sort of our situationship, not a relationship.
Passing each other in the room.
Yeah. Situationship.
Coming in and going out.
He would say, let me get my stuff out of the way. And I'd say, hey, no problem, man. Anyway, so the passing of David Gold, we were saddened to discover that. All right, let's dive into a couple of things in the news. Maybe not so much in the news. It's that time of year where everything's there's a lot of stuff in the news always. The boarding of the Venezuelan oil tanker, and you have, it's the likes of which no one has ever seen. We can always do things like that, reports of the president, and sometimes those just don't bubble to the top for me, and so we will put those where we think they belong. Time Magazine Person of the Year. Have you seen who it is?
I did, but it didn't. I
Didn't
think maybe
stick?
no. I just saw a headline, maybe, but I didn't pay very close attention.
Let me pause that for a second. The most Googled individual in America in 2025 was Charlie Kirk. Isn't that interesting?
Right. Yeah.
I think a lot of people thought Charlie Kirk might be the man of the year.
Person of the year.
I mean, person of the year. I mean, in terms of influence.
Yeah.
And all that he did, I mean, everything changed because of, I think, Turning Point USA. Now, who knows where it will go in the future, but it really was a pretty big deal, even for people who were not sort of in the club, so to speak. And of course, then what happened to him made it even bigger. Maybe that's why people were, I don't know who Charlie Kirk is, and they Googled it and found out who he was. In any case, the most Googled person of the year was not Time Magazine's Person of the Year.
I wonder, has that ever corresponded like that before? Has the most Googled person of the year been Time Magazine's Person of the Year?
One doesn't drive the other.
Yeah.
I just thought it was interesting that you had so many people. I think many people thought that perhaps he would be the Person of the Year. And it also turns out he was the most Googled. So for anyone wondering, well, not many people really, well, apparently a few, because the most Googled person of the whole year was Charlie Kirk. So, but no, he's not the Person of the Year. But interestingly, the Person of the Year was used to search Charlie Kirk. Isn't that weird? Isn't that weird? The Person of the Year is AI.
That's kind of weird.
Isn't that strange? It really is weird. And when you see the cover, it's even weirder. It's even dumber, actually. Architects of AI. It includes Elon Musk and Mark Zuckerberg. They're on the cover of the annual Person of the Year issue. And man, did the internet roast that reveal.
Yeah.
If you haven't seen the
I
cover.
haven't,
Okay.
no.
The cover. Remember the old story of when Manhattan was being built and those men on the skyscraper, they were on that big piece of steel eating their lunch.
Yes.
Okay, it is that, but it is those people, these architects of AI are sitting on a skyscraper beam above Manhattan. It's not even they didn't even use AI to make it well done. If you look it up, you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. Anyway, so that is the deal. The architects of AI. Here's what Time Magazine says. 2025 was the year when artificial intelligence's full potential roared into view, and when it became clear that there will be no turning back, Time announced. For delivering the age of thinking machines, for wowing and worrying humanity, for transforming the present and transcending the possible, the architects of AI are Time's 2025 Person of the Year.
it's not necessarily that AI is the person of the year. It's the architects of AI who are the people of the year.
I guess. I don't know. It seems weird.
That is a little odd.
It seems weird. I mean, you go back to whatever it was, 1930, whatever, Stalin and Hitler and these sort of iconic, and those were tragic, obviously, and horrific, but iconic photos on the front of Time magazine.
Yeah. It was kind of a letdown, I think, for
me
at least.
It is a letdown. Yeah, it really is. It's like, really? That's where we're going now? Remember when the PC was the person of the year?
I didn't remember that.
Yeah, it was actually because that was a huge deal with Steve Jobs thought he should be the person of the year because he had created the Apple or the Macintosh or whatever, and he wasn't. And on the cover was a computer. That was an important event, but it wasn't a person. And the same way AI is an important development, but it's not a person. So I don't really understand the person of the year, but there it is. Time magazine's person of the year. They say it is, or they are, the architects of AI are Time's 2025 person of the year. The very first person of the year, do you know who it was? Very first person of the year ever, 1927. It was Charles Lindbergh.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm. First transatlantic flight, solo transatlantic flight. Piloted the Spirit of St. Louis from New York to Paris. And then looking down at the others, man, such great covers in those days, I think. You look at all the different folks. Adolf Hitler, 1938. Stalin, 39. Churchill in 40. Roosevelt in 41. Stalin again in 1942. Eisenhower, Harry Truman. On and on. George C. Marshall, Harry Truman again, Winston Churchill again, the American fighting man. Ooh, they said man. 1950. That was the U.S. troops because of what war, Lauren? The Korean War.
Yeah, to make up for the man, they named it All American Women were the person of the year in 1975. So
yeah,
they
there
just
you go.
Made up
for
all of that with in one fell swoop.
And with Wallace Simpson. There you go.
1936.
1936. You had women that were in there. Plenty of women were Man of the Year. Nothing wrong with that.
Not a whole lot before 1975, though.
No, that's right. Yeah, it really was Man of the Year, I guess.
Before 1999, only 4 women were granted the title as individuals.
Yeah, that's good. Whatever. It could have to be Man of the Year. Obviously, it's now the Person of the Year. Looking at all the pasts, John F. Kennedy, 1961. Martin Luther King Jr., LBJ, on and on and on. And this year, not a person. Not a person. And it was 82, wasn't it, for the computer?
Yes,
the personal computer.
And they that year they said the machine of the
machine
year.
of the year. Yeah, denoted Machine of the Year. There you go.
I had no idea. 1941, the fictional elephant Dumbo was selected to be Mammal of the Year.
Really?
Cover was created, showing the title character in a formal portrait style, but the attack on Pearl Harbor on December 7th preempted the cover.
Wow. And so it became Roosevelt.
Franklin Delano Roosevelt was the Man of the Year. Yeah, for a record third time. They Dumbo was just, they moved him to the inside of the magazine, not the cover Mammal, with good reason.
Yeah. So there you go. A little wrap up on the person of the year or the whatever it is of the year, Time Magazine's whatever of the year. Did you ever have a stuffed toy, a special stuffed toy as a kid, maybe to help you sleep or if you were scared, or a blanket or a blankie? Did you have anything like that when you were a kid?
I remember having a lot of stuffed animals. I don't think I had one particular thing, though, that was a comfort animal. Yeah, my sister had a bunny, a stuffed bunny. I think we just called him Bunny.
Bunny.
But Bunny came with us.
It's imaginative.
Everywhere. We were young. we didn't have a lot of words yet.
It's okay. Yeah,
we
didn't
know a lot of names yet.
I gotcha. As I've said before, I think here, I had a little lamb that I was given, I think when I was born.
Yeah.
And I still have it somewhere. And I know this story. Well, I had quite a bit of surgery when I was a kid. My lamb had lost an ear.
Yeah.
In all the comforting. and my surgeon actually sewed up with surgical thread.
That's very sweet.
That side of the head and then also sewed up another part. I think the belly was losing some stuffing, and sewed up also the belly. I think I named him Bunny, actually. So when I came to, I had not only did I have stitches, so did my little little animal.
That's very sweet.
We'll come back to that kind of thing. Christmas viewing. We've talked about AI, and we've talked about, obviously, in the shadow of the architects of AI being Time Magazine's Person of the Year. We've talked about how AI and computers changed things. I loved the 60s. This is a question several podcasts ago. I said, it's one more thing I want to ask you. I'll do it maybe next time. I said that twice or three times, and I never did. But the question was, we don't have to dive very deeply into it or at all. The question was going to be, if you could have been born in a different decade, would you want to have been born in a different decade? And what decade would you want to have been born in? Now, to let you think about that, we'll maybe visit it on a future podcast.
Okay.
But let me talk about the greatness of the decade that we both grew up in.
Okay.
Those wonderful Christmas stop motion animations.
Oh, yeah.
From Rankin Bass. Those things were just magical. And the Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer,
The Year
Frosty
Without
the
a Santa
Snowman,
Claus.
Year Without a Santa Claus, Santa Claus is Coming to Town,
Yes, for sure.
The Little Drummer Boy, all of those stop. And of course, computers now, you don't do it that way anymore. I mean, for people who don't know, like Gumby and Pokey, Davy and Goliath were also what's called stop motion animation. You remember how they do that, right?
Now, all the Rankin and Bass weren't, though, right? Frosty the Snowman.
No, that's true.
That was an animated thing, right? I'm just trying to clear it to organize it all in my mind. I know what you're talking about, though, and that was actual. You'd actually take a picture and move. They'd move the characters. And you take another. I remember
it's
doing
claymation.
It is. I did something like that in an art class in junior high, where you'd set up your little. You had your clay figures, and you'd take a picture and then
move it a little bit,
just a little bit,
move
and
the
it was
arm,
amazing.
and move it up,
yeah.
move it up. And I can't remember, but I know Rudolph was stop motion animation, and I know the Little Drummer Boy was stop motion animation.
I'm picturing Frosty the Snowman, and I don't think it was.
Okay,
I think it was animated. But
anyway,
go ahead.
They call it Animagic. They were distinctive stop motion animation, and the early specials really were the ones that were more like that. And of course, those ones we've talked about. But they also attracted famous voices. The Sam the Snowman was who? Was that?
Was it Burl?
Silver and gold. Silver and
Burl Ives, right? Yeah.
Have a holly jolly Christmas. And do you remember who did the voice of Santa? That was Mickey Rooney.
Oh, wow.
So they had really great voices, and I still enjoy. I won't watch a lot of stuff. Christmas time, I have a special little interest in sitting down and watch. I will even watch the Mickey Mouse Christmas Carol. I still like that.
Yeah.
The McScrooge and all that kind of stuff.
A Muppet Christmas Carol.
The Muppet Christmas
Classic.
Carol. Yeah, exactly.
Classic.
Those were all things from the 60s. You had 1968, Little Drummer Boy. Year Without Santa Claus, 74. Santa Claus is Coming to Town, 1970. And then before that, Rudolph and Frosty the Snowman. In 1969. And the very first one was Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. I love that decade of Christmas offerings. And among those things in the 1960s was something that we are celebrating the anniversary of this year.
That's right.
A Charlie Brown Christmas.
1965. December 9th, 1965 was the first time it aired on CBS. And when you were talking about all those great shows that we watched in the 60s, I remember them. They were on in the 70s. If you were a kid in the 70s, you saw them too. And then maybe in the 80s, it might have started to change just a little bit, because if you weren't going to be home, maybe you could record it on the VCR and you could watch it another time. But when we were talking about the anniversary, the birthday of A Charlie Brown Christmas, I was thinking about how you don't see it on CBS anymore. All of that changed which was its home for so many years. in 2020, Apple bought it, and now you can stream a Charlie Brown Christmas anytime. And going back even before that, I remember when we bought Charlie Brown Christmas on VHS when my kids were little. And I remember thinking, it's not as special anymore when you can watch it anytime. There was something about it, and I'm sure, younger people would not agree with this because it's not their experience. But there was something about knowing you had one chance to see it. And if you weren't sitting in front of the television at 7 o'clock on Tuesday night or whenever it was airing this year, you were going to miss it, and nobody wanted to miss. I remember like Frosty the Snowman, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. I think Frosty the Snowman was probably my favorite, but also Charlie Brown Christmas. I mean, you had to be in front of the television when it aired because you didn't want to miss it. You weren't going to see it again for another year.
For decades, I've talked about the common experience. That is part. When you say all those things you've said,
that's true.
That is all an explanation or a description of the common experience. We all were watching the same thing at the same time.
Yeah.
And if you didn't watch it then, you were going to miss it. That is the common experience. That's part of what made that so special. In addition, of course, for your favorite, the voice of Billy DeWolf. Billy DeWolf, wasn't he he was the magician.
Oh,
do you remember his his great voice, Billy DeWolf?
Yes.
He's kind of a character.
I haven't seen that in years. I need to watch that again. He always used to, it's really hard for me to watch because I would cry real tears every time Frosty melted. Sorry if that's a spoiler for anybody who hasn't seen it, but yeah, every time Frosty melted, I can remember being a young teenager and still having to prepare myself for the end of Frosty the Snowman because it just wrecked me every time. A few of the cool things that I learned this week with all of the celebrations of the 60th anniversary of the first airing of A Charlie Brown Christmas. Most of the voice actors were cast from kids that were in Bill Melendez's Southern California neighborhood.
How funny!
They were his little neighbors. They did cast the Bill Melendez, as you might remember, was the director of the show. They cast Charlie Brown, Linus, and Lucy since they were required to recite most of the dialogue. Executives wanted adults to voice the children's characters. They said, no, we're not going to do that. They did cast voice actors, professional child actors in the roles of Charlie Brown, Linus, and Lucy. Some of them were so young. Some of the kids were so young. Linus was one of them that was so young they couldn't read. They couldn't read the scripts. So Linus, all of Linus's lines had to be spoken to him, and then he would repeat them.
Wow!
Which that's part of what makes its magic, I think.
Yeah. They also, I know they wanted to use executives also wanted to use a laugh track, and they said no, we're not using laugh tracks.
Right.
In fact, I think we heard a Charles M. Schultz interview where he was talking about. That's insulting.
Yes.
People know when they want to laugh. They don't want to be instructed when to laugh. Uproarious laughter over something that is not even funny is insulting, Charles Schultz thought.
He said, let the people at home enjoy the show at their own speed, in their own way.
Most people probably know this story, but you mentioned Linus.
Yeah.
And Linus, and we talked earlier about the security blanket, right? To hold a blanket, have a blankie. Something, but if you're insecure, if you want to feel safe, if you are fearful, you have your blanket or you have your stuffed animal, your bunny.
Yeah.
Have your bunny, or you have my little lamb, or you have a blanket. Linus, of course, has his blanket that he never lets go of. He sucks his thumb, and he has a blanket. And the blanket is with him all the time. His security blanket is always with him, and he never drops it. He almost never drops it. And of course, that great scene, which is even more interesting now because it reminds me of Caroline, when I had Caroline before she could read, tell the story of Christmas.
Right.
What is the real meaning of Christmas? And she sat with me in a little studio on my lap, and I would say a phrase, and she would say a phrase. And then I would say another phrase, and she would say another phrase. And then I pieced it all together into the telling of the story of Christmas.
That's right.
And it was Luke, of course, 2 from the Bible, Luke 2, 8 through 14. Charlie Brown asks, what is Christmas all about? And Linus steps up and says what Christmas is all about. And he tells the story of Christmas from the Bible, Luke 2, 8 through 14. Yep. And right before he says the words, fear not, he drops his blanket.
He does. He does. Yeah.
So, I mean, obviously, they don't have to explain what that means. He doesn't need his blanket.
Right.
Now, he does at the end of the telling, and that's the meaning of Christmas. That's what Christmas is all about, Charlie Brown. And he picks up his blanket. And he does put his blanket down one more time. Do you remember when?
Does he fold up the blanket and give it to somebody else?
I'll tell you, it's remember they're looking for the Christmas tree, and all the fancy Christmas trees, all the artificial, all the artificial Christmas trees are so pretty and so perfect. And Charlie Brown, of course, picks out that spindly little one that is almost dead, right? And what Linus does is he takes his blanket and he wraps his blanket around the bottom of the tree and says, I think it just needs a little love. And the tree sort of comes to life.
Man.
In that moment.
Man. Well, another thing that now makes Linus's reading from Luke 2 so much more special now is when you know that it was hard fought.
Yeah.
Bill Mendelsohn did not want to leave that in either. He thought of it as a secular entertainment show. He didn't want to turn anybody off. Charles Schulz stood his ground, and it stayed in. And it is, I mean,
iconic.
It is iconic.
That is. Charles M. Schulz was a devout Christian. And, of course, the creator of the whole Peanuts comic strip. We know about that. Most people may not know. He had submitted some drawings to Disney, and Disney had rejected him.
Yeah.
They did not like. In fact, I think it was very, very harshly worded was the Disney rejection.
First of all, not nice. Secondly, not smart.
Not smart at all. Anyway, so as you watch here on the 60th anniversary of A Charlie Brown Christmas, just a couple of little thoughts. And one of the many reasons, and there are many, that I am so glad to have been born at the early part of the 60s.
Yeah.
That time in the 1960s, what it gave us in so many ways is just, in my view, of course, everybody might say this about their own time, but in my view, is just really special. Oh, it is time for Scattershoot.
Let's go.
Wilder Show Scattershoot. All right.
A young woman has accused Taylor Swift of ruining her life.
Well, golly, how is that possible?
This young woman says that for forever she has had the name Ophelia chosen as the name she would give a daughter someday.
Okay.
And now she's afraid that because there's a song, the Fate of Ophelia. It's not. I mean, it's that's not the title. That's just the title of the first song, I guess, not the title of the whole album.
No.
She said, but now everybody's going to think. First of all, let me just say, she doesn't have any kids yet, and it's not like she's waiting for the birth of this
right.
daughter.
Not expecting. Right. Yeah.
But she's afraid that everybody will think she's a Swiftie.
Got it.
If she names her baby Ophelia.
So she's not mad at Shakespeare.
She's not mad at Shakespeare. No, she's not mad at Shakespeare. And that Ophelia, that was a memorable Ophelia.
Yeah.
And a fairly tragic fate, and she's not yet. Shakespeare didn't ruin it for her, but she's worried that Taylor Swift might have. I say go ahead. Yeah. Take a chance. You know, you won't. I don't think you'll mark her.
I mean, 15
forever.
years. Yeah, that's true. Or actually, we could suggest other names. She could name how about Cassandra or Chloe or Sam or Sophia or Marcus.
Are those all other names from Taylor Swift songs?
They are.
Marcus? I don't think
that's on Dead Poets Society or whatever the other one is. What's it called? The Poet.
You're thinking of a several decades old Robin Williams.
What's the poet?
Movie.
The Poet
Tortured
album.
Poets Department.
Yeah, which has like 1,900 songs. One of them, I think, actually is Chloe or Sam or Sophia or Marcus.
Yeah, I don't know that.
Anyway,
I don't know that album quite as well.
Yeah, I don't think that's.
The weird thing is, just a few weeks ago, it feels like we were talking about how Marjorie's all over the place were celebrating because Marjorie is crawling up the list of most popular names for girls. They think in not only because of this, there's this whole thing about how my mother is a Marjorie.
Yeah.
Marjories are of the age right now that their granddaughters are in their mid-20s, late 20s, early 30s, and naming babies after their grandmothers. And Marjorie is one of those names that is getting a little bit of extra love because of that sort of rotation that we go through, naturally. But also, doesn't hurt that Taylor Swift had a song called Marjorie.
Oh, did she?
I think it was on Evermore, maybe a few years back, 2020, 2021, maybe. So people were happy about that.
Yeah, right.
And this girl's, I guess it just all depends on how you feel about Taylor Swift.
Well, she probably thinks that she really was unique. That she had thought of a name that no one else was going to have.
Yeah.
And then she feels like that, Taylor Swift sort of ruined that.
Yeah.
Made it popular. And now she is, that's withheld from her.
What's the thing? There was a name. Okay, I didn't watch Game of Thrones. I know a lot of people love Game of Thrones. I didn't watch it. But there was a character in it that people loved, a female character, strong female character.
Daenerys Targaryen.
Okay, did they call her Khaleesi maybe too, or was that a title?
That's a title, I think.
Okay,
Khaleesi.
so people named their baby girls Khaleesi, and then again, no spoilers if you're gonna start it now. She does terrible things at the end of that show, right? Does she?
She does terrible things throughout the show.
But I mean, she ends it maybe not as the heroine that people thought she was, and they named their daughters after
Khaleesi,
this character. Funny. Yeah, so I do. Funny. And Robin Williams, years and years and years ago, had a joke where he said we used to name our children after people in the Bible. Now we name them after people on television.
Funny.
that was decades ago. Funny. It was probably 40 years ago.
It's funny.
Holiday season used to be about thoughtful gestures, sentimental gifts, taking some time to think about what your loved ones would really want, what they would really appreciate.
Like which gift card to get?
Well, before that. I mean, before that, yeah. What do most people want for Christmas now?
Yeah.
They want money.
Yeah, sure.
Money.
Is that true?
It is really what people want.
Is that because it is, flexible and they can apply to things that they even need? Is that the deal?
It is. They want it to cover expenses.
Let me say a couple of things. That is tough. One of the good things about Christmas or some gift giving, if you're going to be engaging in that, is to not give, underwear and tube socks for Christmas. Not things that are just normal course of living. Yeah. But to do something special, something different, something they wouldn't maybe get for themselves.
Although,
but I understand,
depending on your situation.
Well, that's what I'm saying. As we get older, and maybe even we have a lot of the little trinkets and little play pretties. We have those things. Yep. It's like, if you're going to do anything, maybe do this. Right. So does it seem a little cold?
A lot of people said that they want money, but 1 in 5 people said they want money specifically to help pay bills. And that unlike receiving a lot of the things that you mentioned, trinkets or even things that are heartfelt from the people who give them, what they really need this Christmas season is the peace of mind of knowing the rent is paid.
Boy,
or the utility bills are paid. Yeah, it's tough. It also said that most people will spend, I think the average amount that people will spend on Christmas this year is like $1,200. But most people only expect to get, they averaged it to like $281 worth of Christmas gifts in return. So I do kind of wonder where all of that money is going. Well, I guess if you're
buying for more people,
you must be buying
if you're buying for 5 people, it'd be about $1,000.
But is that what you think? Is that what you I wonder how many people are
Average
you
person,
buying for?
I don't know.
How many people do you buy gifts
I don't
for?
buy anything for anybody. No, no, I don't. Actually, the truth is, we do a thing where it's more time. It's a time.
That's nice.
It's a time event.
Yeah.
And it's not so much the things. And then there'll be some things that so and so could really use this, or so and so just bought a house.
Yeah.
And so maybe would help them, or somebody else has this particular interest or need, maybe something they wouldn't do for themselves.
Yeah.
I know a few years ago, I gave lots of people those things that automatically air up your tires, and those things that are also portable chargers for your car.
Yeah.
So in one unit, you if you are stranded, you can jump start your own car.
Very thoughtful gift.
And you also can separately air up a tire to get it to the next place. You're not stuck on the side of the road. I personally, I have liked giving those things. I like giving those kinds of things.
Yeah.
But I know it's not everybody's bag. It's not pretty. It's not just very utilitarian. But for the most part, our money is spent on time.
Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah. And honestly, time, in my view, time is the greatest gift. Time is the greatest commodity, the most valuable commodity.
Yeah.
What do I want for Christmas? I want another year. That's it. And I know people can't give you a year. I know that.
Yeah.
But I'm going to say, that's really, what's the greatest gift? To be here again next year.
Yeah.
That's it. Just to be here again next year. And for everybody here to be here again next year. That really is always my Christmas wish.
There are a handful of gifts that I really remember. Most of them are things that my kids gave me, either things that they made or things that they pooled their money to buy. Not things that I asked for, but something that they came up with all on their own. But the memories, I mean, you remember where you were at Christmas and who was there and how you celebrated. Yeah. Those are the things that matter. Well,
and we've said this a long time. I wrote a little piece for some publication at one point talking about Christmas presents. Not presents with a T, but presents with ENCE.
Yeah.
Your Christmas presents is the greatest present. That is the greatest present as we move toward, which is, by the way, it's now inside 2 weeks.
No way.
Christmas is 2 weeks from yesterday.
I got to get busy. We talk a lot about Charlie, the studio dog.
Yeah.
We have a studio dog. He's a little nervous.
He's right here. He's right here at my feet.
He's right there at your feet here. Right now. He tends toward he's got a furrowed brow.
He does.
He's a little worried. He's a great watchdog.
Great.
But he's easily spooked inside the house. Noises, if papers, crinkle a little bit. Yeah, if the fan hits the tissue paper just the wrong way, he gets a little nervous. So I was really alarmed when I saw the headline that said these 12 Christmas songs could be making your dog very nervous.
Can I just say a word about Charles? As I call him sometimes, Charles, Charlie, the studio dog. I was not in the studio, and I heard him making dog noises.
He like a little moaning, whining a little bit. Yeah.
I thought, what's he doing?
Yeah.
And I looked down the hall. He had been standing there for like 12 minutes.
Just outside the studio door.
Waiting for me to come in. Because he was ready to come in and do a show.
Yeah.
He's a good helper.
Well, I don't want to make him nervous. Yeah. I don't want to give him any more stress than he's already under. So I saw these songs, and it's a little bit misleading. It's not that the songs themselves, that there's anything wrong with these particular songs. It has to do with the beats per minute. It turns out that dogs, their sweet spot is like 50 to 60 beats per minute.
They have a threshold.
It's slower music, and that helps reduce their cortisol, which is the stress hormone.
Stress hormone,
that
even in dogs.
I knew that was a big deal for humans. Yeah. I had no idea that all I knew was that my cortisol spikes sometimes when we're on walks, and he goes crazy, for another dog on the other side of a fence. But So I wanted to take a look at these songs that are potentially bothersome for your dogs. And I looked at them and I thought, these don't seem particularly stressful for me. And Charlie was laying really peacefully on the couch, which is the speaker is right there. And I thought, well, we're just going to test these. And we're going to play a little bit of these songs and see if I don't want to put him through any stress, but I want to, I also don't inadvertently want these songs to be stressing him out. So we'll do a little test. So the first song, Last Christmas, Wham!
Yeah, but Wham makes me a little nervous. It's not.
Did not.
It's nothing beats per minute.
Did not. I mean, he lifted his head a little bit, but it looked sort of like, is this the guy who sings Father Figure? It didn't look like he was really stressed, because then he put his head back down again. So the next song, I'd never heard of this song. It's Shakin' Stevens singing Merry Christmas, Everyone.
Okay. All right.
Also did not appear at all stressed. Couldn't keep his eyes open. It almost seemed like maybe it was a little irritating to him, but not stressful at all, because he was trying to sleep. This is a song that I don't like at all. Number 3, Mele Kalikimaka.
It's the
Andrews Sisters,
and with Bing Crosby. It's on
Bing's. That's another version too.
With Bing Crosby's Christmas, the iconic Christmas album.
Yeah,
that is one of the songs on his album. It's Bing with the Lennon sisters,
the Andrews sisters. The Lennon sisters probably covered it at one point too. Yeah. Everybody sang it. I mean, he picked his head up just a little bit, but that was it. No stress, no stress there at all. This one, I was surprised, because who doesn't love "It's the Most Wonderful Time of the Year" by Andy Williams?
Oh, really?
Yeah. He got a little ear twitch, but I really had to look for it. Now, let me just let me mention to you, he was laying on the couch.
Right.
I'll repeat that. When I lay on the couch, I'm pretty relaxed too.
Right.
I don't lay on the couch very often, because it's not a very big couch.
There's
and
not
when
much room.
Charlie's
The dog's
laying on the
there.
couch, there's not a lot of room
right.
for anybody else. The next one, Santa Tell Me by Ariana Grande.
Okay.
This was before she sounded like Glinda, and when she still sounded like Ariana Grande.
Oh, that's right.
I was not aware of this song. I'd not ever heard it before. It had a really heavy beat, but again, Charlie didn't even lift his head. Next was Christmas Eve / Sarajevo, which is Trans-Siberian Orchestra.
Okay.
It's kind of iconic. You'd know it. You'd know it if you heard it. I thought it's kind of stressful.
So that's by Trans-Siberian Orchestra?
Trans-Siberian Orchestra. Yeah. Did not get a single lift of the ear, nothing. Didn't lift his head up. The next one of my favorite Christmas songs. I was really hopeful that this would not bother him. It's Please Come Home for Christmas, the Eagles.
Gotcha.
Yeah, he moved his head just a little bit. The only thing I can think of is maybe if your pet is aware of the feud between Glenn Frey and Don Felder, and that the band had broken up at one point, and that people were really nervous they might never reunite.
Yeah,
and, if they were aware of that, that could maybe cause a little bit of stress. The next one was Driving Home for Christmas by Chris Ray.
Okay.
Charlie said he never heard of it. That was me. I had never heard of that. If he'd ever heard it before, it was not stress inducing at all. Yeah. Next one, another cover, Holiday Road. You know the song Holiday Road, Lindsey Buckingham?
Yes,
from, the vacation, the Chevy Chase vacation movie. I'd never thought of that as a holiday song, more of a vacation song.
Right.
But Kesha, who's a little stressful, she could be a little stress-inducing. She covered it, I guess, as a part of a Spotify holiday thing or something like that, and that's another it could be a stress-inducing song for your pets. He didn't like it as much as the Lindsey Buckingham original, but there was no stress, no stress. We're getting to the end of the list.
Okay.
We Wish You the Merriest. This is a classic. Bing Crosby, Frank Sinatra, the Fred Waring Orchestra. Yes. Now,
kind of like it sounds like a song you'd see performed on a stage.
Yeah, with the whole orchestra. Yeah.
The merriest.
There are a lot of deep voices there, and Charlie doesn't always love deep voices, but again, no stress here at all. We missed What Christmas Means to Me. John Legend, Stevie Wonder classic from many years ago, and then John Legend in with him. No stress there at all. And finally, Faith Hill Where Are You, Christmas?
No
Who
way.
could be stressed by that?
That's another one that's not very. It's a slow song.
I know. I looked over and Charlie's eyes were closed, and he was totally at peace. So I'm just saying, don't worry that the Christmas music is stressing out your dogs. I think they're fine. It's the happiest time of the year.
He did say, though, at the end, as long as you're not going to play Mariah Carey, I'm okay. That is the Wilder Show podcast. Make sure you like, rate, follow, subscribe, and share. If you haven't done it yet, give us a little thumbs up or share it with somebody. That really does help in the genius algorithm stuff. We celebrate the inventors of AI by using their system for our purposes. So like, rate, follow, subscribe, share, even right now before we go. If you did already, great. If you didn't, please do. And if you don't want to, then thanks for listening. Instagram, you find us there, Wilder Show Pod. If you want to send us email to podcast@wildershow.com. Wilder Show podcast drops Tuesdays and Fridays, 6 a.m. Central Time or before, on Spotify, Apple Podcast, iHeart, Amazon, YouTube, also on the TikTok now and again, wherever you get your podcasts. Thank you for liking, rating, following, subscribing, and sharing. And here we are at the beginning of our second 100 podcasts. Lauren, thank you.
Thank you.
And we'll see you next time.
Da-da.